Good morning everybody and welcome to Wild Earth this morning, and as promised we caught up with the baboons this morning, but they're still in bed. We're going to have a quick look of them and see if we can see a new baby baboon. I just saw Evelyn poke her head out from behind her mum, so here's hoping that we are going to be able to, let me just turn this down, but here's hoping we're going to be able to catch up with them maybe a little bit later, but who knows what's going to happen here in the African bush this morning. But for now, we'll have a look. My name's Tara. Joining me on camera this morning is Herman, and back in final control is Craig. So let's see, and maybe we'll catch a glimpse of them before they head down onto the ground to forage. Sounds like Tangman's already starting to wake up. Baboons take to the safety of the trees at night, so they sleep high up in the trees out of the way of many predators. They return to the ground in the morning to come and forage. I see there's a little bit of movement there. Shall we see if we can try and have a look on the other side there as they jump into the other trees? A couple more there. Just about making out the shadows. Can you see the one sitting that side? Little Evelyn's in the fever tree behind. Starting to climb down now. I think all the ladies are there by the looks of it. There's that little LB who moved. Little Evelyn's checking us out there. Does have a little bit of chill on the wind this morning. But the baboons are going to be waiting before the sun rises before they really start to move out of the trees. She's certainly checking us out, eh? Just as we're sitting here, I just noticed these two rams starting to rut a little bit. Still not completely serious, but male does have the skew horn. They've just noticed a couple of impala running, so I think that's what's diverted their attention.
Any Texan, you know, it's up to me.
His horns don't quite fit together properly. Well, it sounds like the two female kahumas and cub have come from the east in Zimbabwe up to the north through Sandy Patch and towards Buffalo's Hook Dam, through Buffalo's Hook, past Sydney's Dam. So they're now in Buffalo's Hook. Quite interesting how he has to twist his head just to try and get the horn just to interlock properly. This young male, well, he's not that young anymore. He's still going strong even though his horn is slightly twisted. The baboons are watching them now. And it isn't about who can stab the other with the horn, it's about strength. Who is the stronger of the two? And there's ridges on the horns to stop them slipping once they do interlock. Oh, it's quite funny. I just turned around just as we were watching them and there was all three baboon almost sitting watching the antics of the impala. But now they've stopped. They've moved away again. I'm pretty sure Shirley is actually hidden to the left. Everything keeps going up to her. And I think Mrs. Psycho, her mother, is actually sitting further back. And she's been spending some time with Elby. Who is the lowest ranking female of the troop, actually the lowest ranking member of the troop. But with only 6 adults in the troop, there's quite a close bond between them now, I think. Some closer than others, as is normal in a baboon troop. But it seems like little Evelyn's the only baboon willing to really start moving around. Now, Gordy is looking like he might start jumping. Excuse me. Looks like he wants to go and join the ladies. Oh well, we might have to wait until they do wake up a little bit before we're able to check to see if Shirley has given birth. It doesn't look like they are going to move anytime soon. I think they'll wait until the sun is high. So let's move on. The guys are busy trailing the line tracks over in Buffles Hook. But I'll certainly keep my ear to the radio. I think we're going to go south, check out around Twin Dams, and see if Karula and the cubs are around there. And then we'll head north towards Buffles Hook Dam, I think. I will keep my ear to the ground. It sounds like the lines have crossed over into Buffles Hook. But they may decide to cross back over into our traversing area. You see these boys are returning to feed and standing next to each other, showing that sparring was just practicing, not really too serious over territory at the moment. See it through there. Forward.
Thank you, I'm coming.
A lot of mist in the valley this morning. Good morning to you, Sandy. Welcome on board this morning. Have I heard of any animals with horns that have interlocked and died that way? There's a very famous statue down in Skakusa in Kruger of two kudu who did exactly that. And they interlocked and weakened and sadly died. I forget what the statue is called now. I think it's Victorious or something like that. But maybe if you Google Skakusa, you should actually have a picture of the statue. Hey, guinea fowl. I just want to get a little bit further around the corner because this is beautiful. Look at this. All the mist. You have to get that. And the soft chirping of the guinea fowl this morning. Oh, good morning to you, Heather. Thanks for that. Apparently it's also been found in moose too. They're going to join the rest of the flock here. Some have taken to the trees, but the rest of the flock are on the floor. Not for long apparently. Wow. I wonder if they saw something or someone moving.
Slowly grazing, heading east.
Usually guinea fowl would take to the trees for safety. We've got a lot of hyena tracks here. Quite fresh too. They're not really alarm calling. If they actually saw something, I'd have expected them to give an alarm call when they're in the trees, and as soon as they got to the trees they stopped. Henry's name? I didn't copy. What did you have on Impala plates? Copy, thank you. Oh, there! Who's this? Okay, heading into the drainage line, but it is a leopard. See, there he is, so he's coming behind us. Just here. Here's one of the boys, Misho and Duna. Anybody want to send through an ID? I'm starting to hear a guinea fowl calling now. He's just behind the tree here. Let me just move back a bit. Can you see him under there? He's eyeing something up. See if anybody's quick off the mark with the identification. And we've seen both boys, Mishu and Induna, going after guinea fowl. And now I can hear the guinea fowl calling. Quite a distance they saw him. Maybe they saw him crossing over the dam wall. There we go, you should be able to see him nicely now. Anybody wanting to send through their answers, questions at wildearthsafari.tv. Who is this leopard? See who's quick off the mark this morning. Now what they tend to do is hunt the guinea fowl, especially towards the evening, and they'll climb the tree, chase the guinea fowl out the tree, and they've got one big burst of energy. And then they struggle to get off the ground once they land on the ground. And that's when they come in and catch the guinea fowl. Binky, Holly, Joanne, Sally, well done. And thank you for coming back with the answer. All first off the mark this morning with Mishu. And it's amazing. We don't see this boy for a few weeks, and then all of a sudden he pops up everywhere. I can even hear the call of a brown-headed parrot somewhere. Let's keep following him. I doubt he's going to be successful now the guinea fowl know where he is, but he may try. He may just try. Okay, now that I've got a break in the radio. Morning all stations, I've got one my daughter Ingwe fambering from Gowrie Dam towards quarantine area.
Okay, copy, thanks, Sarah. 131 cut
Let's see if we can get around the side again. Yes, he's looking. Joey, Chewy14, Lynn and Ellen also saying Mishu. And for those of you not too sure how to recognize him, he has quite a long white part. Baboons have just seen him. Long white part to his tail. And two Ys, one at each corner of his eye. No, one at each eye at the corner of it. So a very deep Y. But he was looking into the tree, but I think he's, now that he's been spotted by the baboons too, more relaxed than the other morning that we saw him. Remember, he gave us the slip. And they're just like humans. Some days they don't mind vehicles, some days they'd rather be on their own. And then the second time we caught up with him, he was again a lot more relaxed. just in the bush just here. Hey, Mishu. You have a late night last night. Good morning, Scott. Welcome on board this morning. You can hear the hippos calling in the background there. And how often do big cats need to make a kill? Depends on the big cat, and it depends on what they kill. If Mishu is to make a kill this morning of the guinea fowl, that wouldn't last him too long. We've actually seen him leave half a kill and go chasing after another guinea fowl that was chased over by an eagle, funnily enough. So he'd caught something, he was busy eating, plucking the feathers and then eating it, and an eagle flew over, scaring the guinea fowl right into his path, and he actually did jump up and chase after it. Unfortunately, for Mishu, he didn't catch it, but he was willing to take down another guinea fowl, even though he had one. So they don't last very long. If he was to take down an impala instead, an adult impala, which they're capable of, that would last them, eating-wise, maybe a couple of days, maybe 3 days, depending on if another leopard came to try and steal the kill. And then that would last them maybe another 3 or 4 days. They wouldn't have to hunt again. So it does depend on what they catch. Standing by.
Which side of quarantine is
Is now static, still more close to Gowrie Dam. If you come down the two track between Inga's and Yuri's, you'll see my mover. He is now Lalapan's visual at the moment is about 1-2 out of 5. So he might just decide to wait here for a few hours, see if there's anything that strolls by. The impala should be making their way down towards the water at some stage. And if you remember, if anybody was on board last night, we did have the bark of an antelope somewhere on the eastern side of the dam. And I wonder if it was this boy walking around last night. But he might just bide his time. Unfortunately, the baboons have blown his cover. They saw him walking up. The guinea fowl also, very sharp eyes this morning. May have just seen him walking over the dam. But with the distance being so great, that's possibly why we didn't hear them giving an alarm call. They called as they flew up into the tree, but then they were very quiet. Whereas if there's a predator around, you'll usually get the chattering that's going on, or that was going on as he got closer to them. And that's why it can be very difficult when you hear alarm calls. It can be very difficult to really determine exactly where that predator is. Henry, you should be getting my visual anytime soon on the right hand side.
I copy. I get your visual. Henry, Texan.
Morning. He's just in here. I'll see if I can pull forward a little bit for you. Oh, can you see him there? I'm just, even though we don't have a great visual of him, I'm going to just stay for a little while longer, just in case he decides to move spots. Especially as the sun starts climbing a little bit higher. He may just decide to move on. Aha. Apparently there's some hyena somewhere just close to Inga's. And they eating at the moment. I'm going to see if I can go and check it out quickly. Okay. So I just had a message through apparently there are some hyena somewhere around Inga's house, which is the house that we use for the staff. And they could be eating, so let's go and check it out quickly while he's here. Are you going to stay here or are you going to go that side?
Yeah, if they eat, the Mandung wanted to book a meal, so
Sorry?
they wanted to book a meal.
Oh, is it? Okay, well I'll stay here if you want, and if you want to go that side.
Okay. Which side?
I've just got a report saying that they were just by Inga's house, somewhere around there, about 6 meters from the house.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
just check. I will let you know.
If you can, that'd be cool. Thank you.
I would like to see if there is no proof. Yeah, okay, we will have the other proof. We're going to try to...
Yeah, I'm going to stay with him in case he moves. Okay. Okay, so Hendry's actually going to go and check it out quickly, and he'll let us know. Just with us being two of us, makes sense for one of us to stay, just in case Mishu does move, and one of us just to go and check it out. So it could be they've moved off already, and if both of us try and go there, and this boy moves, then we end up with no animal. So it is always worth just sticking with a cat that you may not be able to see or it's lying down flat, because they may move. You can see he's busy grooming every so often. He sticks his head up and he may decide that this bush isn't the best place to conceal him for the rest of the day. He may decide to move thicker, into thicker bush. He may decide that's it, he's going to pass out for a couple of hours under this bush. But it's always worth just maybe just checking just a little bit longer. And the mist is starting to disappear now, the sun is climbing higher. Now you may find it odd that even though the baboons gave an alarm call, he's kind of given up. But other animals do pick up on different species alarm calls. It's almost like a universal language. And it gives everybody a heads up. So if the baboons are sitting in a tree, they can see from much further afield than what maybe the impala can. So if the impala hear the baboons are given an alarm call, then they are on high alert. because the baboons have obviously seen something that could be a potential threat to them on the ground. So it's worth them picking up on that alarm call. Squirrels also, you see animals picking up on the squirrel alarm calls, although they do have other predators apart from the ground predators. So they have the aerial predators, they have snakes, they have other things because they're much smaller. So again, the animals will try and look to see where that squirrel is calling. Monkeys as well. Monkeys are also a good one because they spend more time up in the trees than even the baboons do. So if there's a monkey giving an alarm call, that's usually quite a good indication that there is a predator, a ground predator around. And they are supposed to have a different alarm call for different predators. So ground predators will have a different alarm call to aerial predators, or even snakes, but I've yet to hear the different calls. I've only heard the call for the leopard. And what we did learn the other day was if they can't see the leopard, or if it's not too close and it's not in a posture that's going to be threatening, they'll call me every once in a while. And that's exactly what we had with Mishu's brother in Duna the other day, down by the lodge. And the monkeys were given an alarm call, but it was very... They started off giving quite a lot of alarm calls, so that he must have been moving, and then every so often they would then just give a call. So I thought, well, maybe it's a snake, or maybe it's something that's not really threatening, but they are just calling about it. And they did it throughout the day, so he didn't move from that spot. And on the afternoon game drive, we went back again, and 2 meters from where we turned around when we originally looked, 2 or 3 meters, we actually found him doing a lying flat in the grass. So they probably were able to see it, but because he was flat and he wasn't threatening. So that's why they weren't calling as often as what they will when the cat's on the prowl.
Give you Henry a chance. Yeah, Henry, if you copy, let's drive east towards eastern corner of Kushan. I'll give you a gap from here. But then we just walking slowly more south. But sometimes it's coming out of the park. Okay, copy. Thank you. I copy that. Thanks, the boot. Copy that?
Good morning, Zach. Wanting to know who Mishu's father is. And we're pretty sure it's Yombili or Dan. The way he's interacted with Karula and the cubs when they were much younger. And he seems to be her mate of choice in this area. She was seen mating with him with the new set of cubs that she's got. And he's been seen around a few kills when they've been feeding. And he's been sitting there with them. Standing by? No luck. No luck with the hyenas. Copy that, thanks Henry. So they couldn't relocate the hyena, unfortunately. But apparently there's 4 cheetah down on Buffles Hook, again just outside our traversing area, but everyone likes to have an update on the animals that are in the area and that may be seen by us. And on occasion we do get the cheetah crossing through here. And Mishu, who were waiting to see if he'll come out of the bush, has come across 1 cheetah in his life that we know about, and we were there for that encounter. And he could cut the atmosphere between the 2 cats like a knife, or with a knife. It really was quite intense. Mishu was sitting up, ears were flat, and he wasn't sure whether he should chase after the cheetah or whether he should be scared of the cheetah, possibly the first encounter he's ever had with a cheetah. But the cheetah had obviously encountered leopard before, because he really was on edge, even with such a small leopard. And he did end up running off, and Mishu then decided, okay, he was the one that was supposed to do the chasing. Standing by?
Can I join to the area?
Affirmative. Now, even though cheetah, I think we've all found that log, and even though the cheetah may stand slightly taller than a leopard, and they probably about, for a small leopard, probably equally the same weight. I think Mishu is probably weighing in around the same as that cheetah that there. He's just in here. Can you see him? Do you need me to pull forward? Are you okay? Is it okay? Hmm? No, okay. We'll just see if we can move forward just a little bit. Let's see if we can see him a little bit better from this side. Not really. See him through there still? They're still busy grooming, so we'll see what he's doing after he finishes grooming. So what we have seen of him, he seems to groom and then move on. But leopard have been known to kill cheetah, and I know Penny, who visits Kruger on a fairly regular basis, has sent in a sighting where a leopard actually took or stole a kill from a cheetah and actually killed the cheetah and took both up into a tree. Your best pet is probably that side. We can see him fairly well through there. Your best bet was probably just here, because we could see fairly well through there, but at the moment he's just very flat now. If he does decide to move, we'll be able to catch up with him again. just saw some of the hippo displaying down here. We'll just make use of the other vehicle being here. But after a little bit of an absence by the cats, it's great to see them out and about. I just caught sight of this one displaying. Abel, come in. Aubrey, come in. Can you let me know if the Ingwe starts to move?
Okay, copy,
Thank you so much. And now we're watching him. We might just start displaying this one here to our left. No. I think the raft, it looks to be about 5 hippos over there. There's this one that we're looking at now. I think this is Bob and Pinky, who were born last year. That's their family. And there is a new baby hippo up in Buffelshoek Dam.
You call me Henry? Just taking it the 10 already there. Let's go back to okay, copy. Yeah. I'll be slowly coming here.
And there's some water thickenings just behind the hippos there. The young hippo seems to be taking notice of what's going on with the guinea fowl. And I can't remember which one of the boys it was, but one of the boys did try and hunt little Bob, where it was just a few months old, and I think the mother managed to get in between baby and leopard, or they managed to get it back into the water, but either way the baby managed to escape. But they're not the normal food source of leopard or even lion, but again, if there's the opportunity, and if the baby hippo was unguarded while it was on land, And the leopard, there's no reason why a leopard couldn't take a baby hippo. But now, even just over a year old, I think the hippo is probably going to be quite a difficult meal for a leopard to catch. And certainly a fully grown adult is not going to be a match that a leopard could take on. But lion pride could do. I have seen footage of lions actually attacking hippo, maybe when there's nothing else around. But again, they're quite a difficult animal to really try and hunt. And for a long, long time it was thought that hippos kill more people every year than any other animal in Africa. I think they average about 70-75 usually. But it isn't a true indication, because unfortunately with the crocodiles, because it was always thought that they actually kill more people than crocodiles do. With crocodiles they eat everything, so you don't actually find some of the bodies, and that's possibly why it's been swayed to the hippos, because they don't tend to eat the carcass. On occasion they have seen, in times when there's no food around, hippos have been seen eating from a carcass. But generally they don't eat meat, and their stomachs are not really designed to eat meat. Okay, well, let's see if we can head further south then. Doesn't sound like Mishu's on the move at the moment. So let's try out Twin Dams Road, see if we hit it lucky. Oh, actually, saying that, there was a rhino around Impala Plains, so let's maybe go back up towards the quarantine area, down Zoe's Road, Impala Plains, and then head round towards Treehouse Dam and Twin Dams. See if that rhino's still there. Seems we did catch up with a rhino yesterday. Hi Tom. Good morning to you, Tom. I'm wanting to know if the hippos are standing or swimming. Okay, he's leaving him. So let's have a quick drive around. Doesn't look like he's going to move anytime soon from that spot. So let's have a quick drive and we'll come back past here and see if he is still around. Thanks, Aubrey. I'm going to pull out for now. I'll try and see if we can come back a little bit later. Does it look like he's Lalapanzi steam now?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, so he's a flat cat. Seems we spent a bit of time with him. We'll move on. So we'll go past the baboons, see if they've woken up a little bit, and head towards Impala Plains. But it is still a little distance. But Tom, they are more likely, it's quite a shallow spot there, so I think they're actually lying down rather than standing. And especially this time of year, when the sun isn't as fierce as it is during the summer, they're more likely to spend more time with part of their body The eyes, ears, the nose, all out of the water. And in wintertime you'll even find them sunbathing on the bank, not even in the water. But in summertime, when the sun and the rays are extremely harmful, that's when you'll find them fully submerged. And they'll spend all their day in the water and only emerge at night when the sun can't harm the skin, because the skin is very sensitive, and that's why they use the water to protect the skin and keep it well moisturized too. Okay, the baboons have woken up. Looks like they've gone the other side for now. Oh no, one or two still in the trees at the back. Sorry, I didn't copy. It's still in the trees.
Yeah, 1 o'clock. That Marty got it stop from where the voice.
Apparently there's a crocodile that's just emerged out of the water. Where do you need me? Where can you see them? Just there? Maybe Craig can pick it up with the waterhole camera. It sounds like he's inside, or in the water. It must have just emerged just as we left. But as the sun climbs higher, then maybe that crocodile will come out and sunbathe. So I think we'll still stick with the plan, head down towards where the rhino was last seen, and then we'll make our way back here, head down, see if Mishu's still around, and maybe see if the crocodile's out, and then head south. I think we'll try that. Baboons are having a lion this morning. Our resident troop, the Gowrie gang. And Tom, the hippos don't swim. They pull themselves along the ground and in the water. And they do have, especially the babies, have some form of buoyancy, so they can float up to the surface and have a look out. But if it's too deep, they can't live there. Or if it's a very deep area, it needs to be very narrow so they can get to the banks, or at least water where they can actually come up to the surface every once in a while. Okay, let's move on then. Leave the baboons in peace. Maybe at some stage they'll come down and forage. Still can't really see a baboon who is pregnant. She's more likely to give birth overnight in the trees for safety. And she can recover from the birth without having to try and keep up with the troop and look for food. So most baboon births will happen at night. And I think someone was asking about hyena a little bit earlier. Elizabeth, I think. Welcome on board, Elizabeth. And are hyenas related to jackal and coyotes, I think. Jackal and coyotes. And it was believed that they were closely related to dogs. But now, with more research, they've actually found they're closer related to the cat. So he's closer related to the leopard than he is to the jackal and the coyotes. I'm going to stay here and just see, because there's some dwarf mongoose that were on the road, and they've just gone into the hole here. And I wonder if they're going to pop out. Yes, they're coming out, look. Dwarf mongoose. Now if you were lucky enough to join us on drive yesterday, and we had the slender mongoose. The bodies are much shorter than the slender mongoose, and the tail is also much shorter. Face is quite blunt as well, whereas the slender was very long and pointed. They've all come out the back now. There's one just in the entrance. The rest are coming out just on the branch and the log behind them. The dwarf mongoose. And one of my favourite birds, and I'm hoping he's going to stay put as we turn the camera. Fork-tailed drongo. There he goes. Keeping an eye on what the dwarf mongoose are doing. And quite often, oh there we go, dwarf mongoose just came out this side as well. Oh, you're going that way. They will usually follow larger herbivores for any insects that they disturb through the grass. But he's obviously just keeping an eye on the dwarf mongoose, as they also will eat insects. Ooh. And they may disturb things as they're foraging, so I think that's what he's waiting for. No, I think they got a bit of a fright by it though. And what is quite amazing, I love these birds for the pure fact they do have character. And they'll even follow us. In the winter we've actually had the fork-tailed drongos following us. Every step we took they followed us. And I've even had them following us on a walk for the same reason again, disturbing any insects. And I actually had an insect on my leg, and this fork-tailed drongo was following us, and he picked up the fact that I had an insect on my leg. And as I was showing the guests the insect on my leg, he swooped down and picked it off my leg. Oh, just as it flew off, he actually picked it up, so it was probably a few centimetres from my leg. And he flew off with it. Very cheeky with the birds, very opportunistic. And it even goes as far as mimicking other birds and animals. We're able to get the African hoopoe in the road, a beautiful bird. Also spied something that he had. with them being able to mimic animals and birds, they've learnt the alarm call of meerkats in certain areas. So if the meerkat has something that the fork-tailed drongo wants, they'll give the alarm call. All the meerkats think that there's a predator around, so they run, leaving behind the food if it's too big to carry, and the fork-tailed drongo can then come down and steal the food. Very, very clever. I haven't seen them mimic the alarm call of the dwarf mongoose yet though. But the bright orange of the African hoopoe and that crest is very, very distinctive. You don't really have any other bird you could mistake the African hoopoe for. Always worth stopping for them. Beautiful little bird. You don't often get a chance to see them like this. This is really worth just having another look before we move on and see if we can catch up with the rhino that was seen. I think in a year this is only the second opportunity I've really had to show an African hoopoe. And they say the name, hoop hoop hoop, hoop hoop hoop. Beautiful, eh? Move on. And leave him to his breakfast. Sorry hoopoe, I'm going to have to disturb you a little bit. No, you can go back to where you were. There we go. And Elizabeth, just going back to your question, I'll try and remember to bring the leopard replica, the skull that I was given by Graham. He gave me a replica of the skull. Uses a resin to set it into a mould of it. And I'll see if I can actually show you the reasons why the cats are cats and the dogs are dogs. A lot of it is to do with the skull. And generally the dogs tend to have more teeth in the skull as well. A lot of the cats have around 30. Especially the true cats. We're now on Zoe's Road, heading south. Keep a lookout for the rhino. It was a little while since I saw a rhino on Impala Plains. clouds are pulling in. It's starting to get a little bit chilly again. Hyenas were busy around this area as well. Try not to break the aerial. We'll go off road instead. How about that? Our rhino has already walked this way. So the question is he going to continue down Rebecca's Road, which it looks like he is. Let's have a look here. Hi, Anne. Mointio has been scraping his feet here, look. So it's been spraying, it's actually quite damp there, and he's been scraping his feet as he walks. So I think he has gone this way, so let's see if we can follow the trail down Rebecca's Road, but he may cross over down towards Treehouse Down, which is where we were heading before. And wanting to know, seen any more scorpions lately? And do we have many scorpions? We do have a lot of scorpions actually. You don't see them very often. Actually very lucky to see a scorpion. They stay hidden away usually. Unless they want to share showers with people. I've actually got a tailless whipped scorpion sharing my shower at the moment too. It was for a couple of days, it's gone again now. Not dangerous. In fact, I think they actually used it on the Harry Potter film. Or a species. Very similar. I forget which one it was in now. Because I crossed over. Joanne, what birds were we just looking at? The African hoopoe. H-O-O-P-O-E. Hoopoe. Apparently they do smell. Did our rhino come back out onto the road? Yes, he did. So I think it has, I think these are looking a little bit older. Actually no. No, they are his. So he went in, maybe went to a midden or something, came back out again onto the road. Now he goes off down there. Are we down towards Treehouse Dam after all? Hi Zach! And I feel the same way, eh? When was the last lion sighting? You're dying to see one. Feels like it's been ages. It does feel like it's been ages. And I think the last lion sighting we had was the 3 Majingi males about a week and a half ago now, I think. We had the Majingi males walking down Voyatella Access. They parked off somewhere about halfway along. Slept there for the day. And then towards the end of the day we had the Styx Pride also joining us, as well as 3 Majingi males. There's the elephants. I wanted to keep quiet. There's some very fresh elephant dung and very fresh elephant. And there's one in front of us as well. Fresh elephant dung and fresh elephant tracks. So we trade one pachyderm for another. But I think our other pachyderm's gone south. The rest of the family's gone that way. I'm going to see if we can just drive in here, because he's going to actually continue that way, so we should be able to see it a little bit better due to all the nutrients. And you may even find trees growing out of termite mounds, because in some areas that's the only spot where it's going to have enough nutrients to support such a complex plant. And that's why you see the animals eating the grasses from these termite mounds. It looks like our other elephant's starting to come out now. So while these boys have got their backs to us, we'll go to the other side and have a quick look at what they're doing before we head on again and let them finish their breakfast. Very good sense of smell, and if you watch, it's actually moving its trunk around and sniffing out probably the best bits of grass. It's being very picky about which parts of grass it's taking. And again, look where he is, on a termite mound. You'll even find buffalo standing right on top of termite mounds, eating grass there, even rhino. They'll migrate towards termite mounds where all that nice vegetation is. And even the antelope too. Well, we still have a little bit of area to cover. Shall we leave them, enjoy their breakfast? I think some of the other cows are further that side. We might just bump into them as we get back to the road. I can still hear branches breaking right at the back there too. So I thought the rest of the herd had actually moved further down towards the drainage line, but it must be that they're still on the way here. Hello, little one. You're coming for a closer look. What you doing? All that display you saw will be when he's older. He can try and intimidate, and he's just trying to put us in a place just to make sure that we know that he's the boss. With the ears open, you can see he was holding his head extremely high, and the ears were out. And you do find the youngsters doing this a lot. They won't just do it to us, they'll do it to animals. I've seen the small ones actually do it to warthog. got an itch behind his ear, look. And I can just about see there's another cow there who's probably his mother. Not too far away. And he's greeting the little one there. Elephants greet each other by putting the trunks in each other's mouths. And you'll even find older animals doing this when other herds come together. You'll find, especially the females, you'll find bulls also greeting each other like that. What a peaceful morning. Let's continue. Maybe we'll have some luck with... Oh, hold on, I can't leave this now, look. Just holding up the trunk there, having a smell of us. There's so much to an elephant's character. Hi Steph, good morning to you, saying you've seen elephants climb up very steep banks, and are they able to climb down the steep banks? And yes, they are. They've actually got the same amount of bones in their legs as we have in our fingers. So if you can imagine, all these bones in the finger here are all in their feet and in the lower part of the legs. So they actually have a lot of mobility in those feet than what you maybe think. So they're able to climb up onto steep bankings, and it really is incredible where they can get to. You really wouldn't expect an elephant to get to places where they can. And they can come down the other side. Also, they'll take it very slowly and very easy. But they're a lot more agile than what you would give an animal that size credit for. And where we think is their knee or their elbow is actually their wrist. Their knees or elbows are further up towards the body. And coupled with the feet also will be able to give them quite a lot of grip, because most of it's tissue. They actually walk right on the tip of their bone. And there's still the 5 bones there, so they walk right on the tips of the bones, and the rest of the foot is this soft tissue, and it molds around rocks and things like that to give them this extra grip. And that's why they walk so quietly as well. If you haven't heard the elephants at all, the only time you hear them is when they're breaking branches to feed on. Very quiet. Hi Tiger Man, welcome on board this morning. How big can elephant herds get to? They can get into their hundreds. Just depends on how many elephants are in the area, what time of year it is. During the summertime when there's plenty of food, these big herds tend to break off, and you tend to get the small family units, which is what the herd's made up of. You get the cow with their relatives, you get sisters and daughters, grandmas. So as the family increases in size, you'll get larger family units, but then they'll all join together at certain stages and form these huge, huge herds. I've yet to see a very large herd. I'd love to see 300, 400 strong herd of elephants. That really would be quite epic. But it's hard to really get a feeling for how big the herd is when you see them so spread out like this. But there's a number of family units here. I think we've actually got one family unit in front of us. I think this is a cow with different age calves with her. And maybe even one of those bulls that we were seeing on top of the termite mound could be even one of her old calves. And at some stage they're going to be moving on. So I think let's do the same. Let's see if we can catch up with our rhino. So, Treehouse Dam, I think. I wanted to try and head back towards Gowrie Dam. The sun hasn't really come out, so I don't think the crocodile's going to be busy basking in the sun as yet. But certainly keep a watch out on the camera, the Waterhawk channel. And anybody else wanting to send through any questions, it'd be great to hear from you this morning. Send them through to questions@wildearthsafari.tv. And it's always great to hear where you're from in the world too. I always find it quite interesting to hear who we've got on board and where you're from. And it's always great to hear from new people as well as all the regular viewers. It's always nice to hear who's on board. And we do appreciate the questions, so keep them coming in. Stations leaving the Indlove open lock on Rebecca's Road. I think we'll have to check out Treehouse Dam first, pop across over to Twin Dams, maybe see if Kahula's around, and then we'll head back towards where we left Mishu. See if he's still in that area. Hi Elizabeth. And asking when herds join together, is there still one matriarch? There is usually. There'll be one female who is the dominant female. And all these individual family groups are probably still part of that herd. As I'm saying, summer they'll break away, but they may still be in contact with each other, and then they come together to make these large herds. So they will listen to the decisions made by the matriarch. It's quite interesting how the matriarch becomes the matriarch. She's not the female who bosses everyone around and kind of bullies everyone, kind of saying, I'm going to be the matriarch. It's actually the other way around. It's the female who everyone seems to respect. And if a matriarch dies within a herd, that matriarch, because she's basically held and been trusted by the other elephants in the group, it kind of does throw them into a bit of turmoil. And maybe for a couple of days they kind of stand around and they're not too sure what to do with themselves. And eventually when it comes to the point where they kind of realise, well, they need to get on with looking for food and carrying on with their life, you may get a split in the herd where some members of the herd decide that they're going to back one female and some members of the herd decide they're going to back the other female. So it can actually split the herd up when they do lose a matriarch. What's also interesting is even from birth, you may get some females who are groomed to possibly take on that role later on in life. So you get some that are already showing leadership skills, and and then they will almost be groomed by the females for that role. Hi Dave! I couldn't quite hear where, I think it's Dave from North America and that area. I couldn't quite hear. I think it's you, Dave. So you have the mockingbirds that can mimic up to 40 calls, and I think sounds of people as well. Do we have any birds like that here in South Africa? And I don't think we actually have any in South Africa that can make or mimic calls or sound like humans or inanimate objects. Like the lyra bird from Australia is very good at mimicking people and chainsaws and all that sort of thing. You do get obviously the African grey parrot, which is very good at mimicking, but that's further north. It's not found here in South Africa. And I'm trying to think what else. The parrots here really just call, it's quite a high-pitched squawk. You don't get the brown-headed parrot mimicking. From what I know, well, from what I've heard of them, I think our bull, I haven't seen any tracks come out, they could come out further down. It could still be in that block there, the fresh tracks. Still making his way through, maybe still finding nice food. We're getting a lot of breakup there. Hey, Franklin. We'll have to try that question in a little while again. going, Franklin? Hop over Elephant School to Twin Downs. This is the area we left, or we lost the tracks of Karula and the cubs. So I'm just going to try out this area. No one else has driven around here. So let's just see if Karula is around. So do a loop around and maybe head down onto Gowrie Main and come up the other side of Fillerman's Cup line before we head back towards Gowrie Dam. I just got the question from Zach. Zach wanting to know, how do you tell the difference between Michoud and Induna? So Michoud, I see something there. Or did I just see a termite mound? Always worth checking out though, you never know. Even better, a branch. So Michoud has very distinctive Y next to the corner of his eye, on both eyes. I think I'm seeing droppings. Yeah. A little bit of white is what it might have been, the white ears of the cubs. And quite a lot of white underneath his tail, the end of his tail. I actually noticed Karula doesn't have too much white on the tip of her tail. Michoud does. Hey, little crested francolins. This would be perfect for the cubs to play in this drainage line here. If I was Karula, I'd be leaving my cubs here. Induna has on his right eye a semicircular spot above his right eye, and it kind of goes over here. So this is my left eye, but it's going to be like it. We even commented on it afterwards, in that maybe she knows that we're not a threat, so she doesn't need to worry about us doing anything with the cubs or harming the cubs. And they were visible to us, and I wasn't expecting them to stay out and about as long as they did, even when she walked off. And it was almost as if they were kind of thinking, well, should we follow, should we not follow? And they didn't hear her calling them, so they decided, okay, well, we'll stay put then. And they came and sat in front, maybe a few meters in front of us. Sat down, the little boy did, he sat down, the girl jumped over him, and then they both decided, well, we'll just walk off into the bush then. But I think Karula does know we're not out to harm her, and we keep a respectful distance from her, and she'll come to us if she wants to. And even down to when she popped out, I mean, we followed her down through the lodge with the other two vehicles, and she disappeared sitting in fairly thick grass to eat her francolin, I think. That's why we weren't seeing her. She was concealed. So we left her to it. We went to Gowrie Dam, and all of a sudden she popped up, walking close to where we were. She made her way through to the overflow as we were sitting on the wall. And it's almost as if she was deciding, should I go through the drainage line or should I take the roads? And then she decided, no, I'll take the roads. So she came up onto the dam wall, walked past us, and continued walking all the way along the dam wall onto Twin Dams. And then she called the cubs. And she actually came out, what was really, because I could not see, we saw her calling them, she went further in. So I tried to go a bit further ahead to see if we could get into that spot, because I actually thought she was going to go quite far into the bush when she was calling them. And the spot that I picked, we reversed out because I couldn't get through. And next thing you know, as I'm pulling out, she just appears. I do not remember seeing her there at all, but she just appears. She's been sat there, it's almost as if she's been sat there for a little while. And then out come the two little cubs and jump on her and play around. It really was quite special. And then they went back into the bush. So we left them again, and later on she was seen on quarantine area, again out in the open. She walked down Weaver's Nest, and as we approached, again they just walked right past the vehicle and down onto where we left them around Treehouse Dam junction with Weaver's Nest Road and Elephant Skull. I'm not seeing any tracks here. Very curious cat. But I think it did show great trust, I really do. Myself and Andrew were both there, so it was two vehicles. She was quite happy just to leave them and go off and go and hunt. But they did go and conceal themselves once they realised she wasn't coming back. So I think there was a question coming through from Brian earlier. Hopefully we should be able to hear it better now. Okay, let's make our way up towards Gowrie Down. See if Misha is still there. Through a lot better now. But good morning, Brian. Welcome on board, Mr. B. I hope Heather's well too. They're great to hear from you. And originally, a little while ago, we were hoping to increase the traversing area. And is it still going to be possible? Oh, these things do take time, and we are still hoping that it's going to be possible, but we shall have to wait and see. Just think it certainly would be quite useful if we could follow Karula everywhere that she went. That really would help us to understand where exactly those boundaries of her territory really are. As I say, I think we've kind of worked out from where she was leaving the cubs and where she was being seen. She doesn't go more than a kilometre, I think, from Triple M boundary. I think she was around 800 metres or so from that boundary in the west. So I think it's probably that strip down the side of the western boundary. And maybe again, not too much into Buffelshoek, Hook, but she does cross over into Buffelshoek. Hook. And also a little bit in the south. And I wonder if that's where she's gone again. Or whether she's still around where we lost those tracks yesterday. And she's just found something in that block somewhere. She was able to be successful with a kill. Yep, more rhino tracks. Going that way this time. I think the rhinos had a party last night. Oh, sorry, little Franklins. That seems you're standing there so nicely. If anybody not too sure how to ID the crested franklin, there you go. Dark bill, red legs, and where it gets its name from, the crest.
I can barely see one of the others are way too close.
Oh, the other's too close. Okay, let me see if I can back off a little bit. It's great to see the franklins have actually done quite well this year. I've been watching the little chicks grow. So it's very difficult to tell the chicks from the adults now. Even the colours all over the body, the same coloration. They're not dull anymore like they were when they were chicks. Organising all their feathers, making sure they're all in the right place. So much time is spent by birds doing this, and it's important because it does keep them aerodynamic. If one feather is out of place, it can make a difference. And that slight difference could mean the difference between life and death. So it's very important for them to keep those feathers in good order, taking any damaged feathers out, making sure they're all sitting right. Cool. Well, let's see. Mishu is still around. Sorry, little Franklins, I'm gonna have to disturb your bathing time. So in case anybody is just tuned in, welcome on board. We're gonna just be heading back to where we left Mishu first thing this morning. And the reason why we saw Mishu in the first place was due to the guinea fowl. The guinea fowl were looking across towards the dam. And they flew up into the tree, and the rest of the flock that were to the left of us also flew up into the tree. And I thought, that's very odd. They didn't really give an alarm call. But we started looking down towards the dam, and as we approached the dam, Mishu comes strolling over the wall. And he did look like he was going to try and hunt the guinea fowl. He was still up in the tree. By that stage, they were starting to call. Then the baboons also called. I think it put an end to that one. I'd love to know what goes through their minds though. When they see these vehicles with people in, I'd love to know what they think of us. And even the baboons, I wonder how much of our behaviour they watch. But certainly they do react when people point. I've noticed this a lot actually. Because you'll be driving around on your own, or when we used to drive around with guides, their animals used to stay fairly close to the road and they'd stay there. And yet sometimes when you had guests, they would move. And I was thinking, why on earth is there this big difference? It's not in what we're wearing, it's not in what we're smelling like. And I suddenly realised, I think one of the guides did it one day. He said, oh, look there. And it's because you're so excited and you go, look there. And you're actually pointing that action is what kind of gives the game away almost. And the animals kind of react to it, whether it's just a quick movement of your hand. Or with some animals, it's the fact that they've just been spotted. And that was it. It was with the baboons. The baboons kind of went, whoa, okay. Oh, the crocodile is out. Okay, let's see if Mishu is still here. And we'll go and make our way down to the crocodile. And it is starting to warm up, even though the sun is not out properly, it's starting to warm up. So the big question, did Mishu stay put? Yes, he did. He's still here. Which side? Down here. Okay, let's see if I can go down here a little bit. There's a little gap there. See him through that. Just that? Kind of. Oh yeah, I see. Actually, yeah, that's his head there. Just through there. So he's still sleeping. So maybe he's going to stay here for the rest of the day. Stay concealed, hidden from the impala and other animals. Maybe try again later on to hunt.
Paul, do you manage to locate that Madoda area? 224, I'm on Joe Road from West Exit approaching Impala Road, so far not yet. Sometimes did you get the direction where was Malapan? 224, I'll call Sarah about here.
Abel, come in.
From Pam, from Chris and Pam, just on the east of that. Another part that thanks for bringing Tara Hashan, Mamlungu Pamba. So I'll try afternoon again. Thanks, man. Okay.
Abel, sorry I didn't copy you earlier. I've got the Ingwe with me now if you're interested. He's still a lot of pounds, same place, just to the west of Gowrie Dam.
Okay, thanks, Tara. I'll book a move there from yesterday. So I'll try afternoon. Thank you very much.
Copy that. Okay. Well, again, I don't think he's going to be moving anytime soon. But I did want to check in, because hopefully maybe this afternoon might have some luck with him still being around. Oh. What did he just do?
Yawning. And lying back down.
I wonder if something... Maybe there's a bug or something. So unfortunately I can't see him too well. But it almost looked like he jolted, you know, when you sleep and sometimes you fall or something. It almost was like that. It was sort of a quick movement of his body. Either that or there was something close by. But let's leave him to his slumber. We'll go and check out the crocodile quickly. Sleep well, Mishu. And maybe he was terrorising the impala last night. I know as we were driving back from closing down, we bumped into the elephants who we had on drive a little bit earlier. So we sat with them for a little while, so we're all across the road. And once we got past them, we got round to the northern side of the open area. The impala, there was two boys giving an alarm call. They really weren't happy about something, but I couldn't see what it was, and I wonder if it was Mishu. Oh, shame the hippos are moved to the other side of the bank now. Handy for the waterhole camera. Right next to the waterhole camera now. Let's say hello to the crocodile. Got a grey heron there and a blacksmith lapwing too. And actually the blacksmith lapwings have been known to clean the crocodile's teeth before. And there's a few other birds. I think there's another type of lapwing, or it's called a plover further north. They also do the same thing. And even the water thickneys have been seen doing that. When the crocodiles have the mouth open to regulate their body temperature. These little birds will come in and pick off any piece of meat in between the teeth. Oh, there is another water thickney there too, just behind the blacksmith lapwing. If I was to go and lie next to the crocodile, which I'm really not willing to do at the moment, I value my life too much. If I was to go and do that, he'd probably be just a little bit taller than me, you say? I think probably a few more centimetres on the tail. So about 2.5, maybe even 3 metres tall. Quite a big crocodile. Although they can get 6 metres in length and weigh in close to a ton. But I think he would be a danger to me at this size. So if I was to go swimming in the dam here, not that I would, especially with the hippo around, but if I was to go swimming in the dam and he was in the dam, I would have some serious problem. Well, a serious problem. When they're out on land, they don't pose as much of a threat, and I think that's why, from what I can find out, you don't really get the animals giving an alarm call to a crocodile out of water. It only comes if a crocodile strikes, or has taken something, or has tried to take something. But when they're in the water, that's when they pose the threat. And they can conceal themselves extremely well. In amongst the vegetation, even just having their eyes and nose out of the water, they do look like a branch, and they'll just maybe go slowly with the current, or they'll just stay there and wait for an opportunity, an animal coming down to the water's edge to drink, ducks swimming on the surface of the water, and they'll ambush them. Bless you. Now I remember a little while ago 2 buffalo sitting here. And I remember the crocodile actually coming up, and he disappeared for a little while, and then all of a sudden the 2 buffalo ran out of the water, and he must have snuck up to them and maybe even touched them or something, and at that stage I wasn't too sure what he was trying, because the buffalo, I think, is still a little bit too large for a crocodile this size, and I wonder if he was trying to move them away from that basking point, because he does seem to pick that. Well, we haven't really seen him elsewhere here, actually basking out on the road or anywhere like that, and I wonder if maybe that's why he was trying to encourage them to move away from that spot so he could actually climb out and bask, because that's pretty much where they were sitting, where the hippos were this morning, and I wonder if he did the same thing with the hippos. I say he, I actually don't know if it's a he or a she. Okay. Well, it'll take him a little while to warm up. The sun is starting to come out now. So it might be there for a little while. Using the scales on his body, and even you should be able to see those scales standing up, the shoots standing up. And they cartilage, and they will have blood vessels in there, and that just increases the surface area of the crocodile, and each one of those shoots standing up can absorb the heat, so increase the temperature of the crocodile fairly quickly compared to a crocodile that didn't have any of those. But if they get too hot, then they'll open the mouth and allow the cool breeze just to pass over the mouth and cool them down a little bit. And if they still get too hot, then they'll return to the water. I thought he was actually facing that way, and I was going to see if we could maybe make our way down to it. It's sitting with its head towards the water. I'm not really going to get a good view from the back. They both certainly do seem to be a little bit put out. Shame. Look at them as we head towards the quarantine area. I just want to have another check on the baboons, see if they're up and about yet now that it's nice and warm. These seem to be the two favourite spots at the moment, where the crocodile is and where they are now. I think the bank is, or the ground is shallow enough that they can just lie on there. Standing by.
Said you still got that Madoda Ingu?
Affirmative. Is still Lalapan's team in the same place?
Okay, copy, thanks. I just want to join.
No, Matata, I'm actually going to be pulling out.
Okay, copy, thanks. Yeah, I'm on the western side in that side.
Copy that. Any sign of Mbisi that side?
Luto.
Copy that. Oh, seems we've only got 12 minutes. Let's go and sit with Mishu until the end then. You never know, you might just wake up. Just in case there's anybody you may have missed him this morning. We'll see if we can catch up with the baboons a little bit later. Actually, the shade is covering him quite nicely. I really think he's found himself a nice spot. Still a lot of pans. Mm-hmm. Oh, we've been around as well. No, it doesn't look like it there. Can you see him at all or not really?
Not very well, but I can see.
I think I'm hearing Graham's quad bikes. Maybe we should leave him in peace. I thought we could maybe see him a little bit better again, but maybe not. Well, let's leave him in peace then. I'm just going to pull out Hendry. I always find it difficult to drive off quietly then. This afternoon it's either going to be myself or the next tryout presenter, Jock, another Jock, and we'll certainly keep you updated on who it's going to be on Facebook. Jock is going to be with us for a number of days again, just like the previous tryout presenter and like the rest of the tryout presenters. And the reason being, we just want to try and give as many people an opportunity to watch them as possible. So we're going to do a couple of morning game drives, a couple of afternoon game drives over the time that they're with us. And if you would like to give any comments, then send it through to tryout@wildersafari.tv. Mark is still on leave for another week or so. And we don't have the tryout presenters. Unfortunately, guys, you're stuck with me. Sorry for that. Looks like the baboons have gone that side. That's a shame. Oh, and they're not, they're just here. Yeah, there's one in the tree, I just saw him. Okay, let me move forward. Oh, there we go. That's a nice surprise. So do we have a new arrival yet, guys? And girls? It doesn't look to be the case. Oh, we've actually got a vervet monkey around here too. Just in the marula tree opposite us. And here comes Evelyn. Yeah. Sorry. Little Evelyn and Mrs. Psycho. Doesn't look like Shirley has given birth yet though. All the troop are walking towards the vervet monkey now. Quite interesting to see what the vervet monkey will do. Because the two species sometimes do interact. Alright, he's decided he's going to climb higher. You see him now? Right. Let's see if I can just pull forward a little bit. He's sitting just in the fork of the tree. Yeah, just in the fork of the tree there. Baboons don't really seem too bothered by him. But baboons are more of a terrestrial monkey. Vervets more arboreal. They live more in the trees. You will find vervet monkeys on the floor, but they better suited to life up in the branches, and that's one of the reasons why they have a much longer tail for balance. I think if little Evelyn wanted to play, I'm sure she would jump off and climb the tree. Apparently she does play with the vervet monkeys sometimes, and same with Huey as well. like to have seen that, but unfortunately it doesn't look like it's going to happen today. At least we're... oh, there it is. She's just climbed the tree. Oh, Vervet monkey's climbing higher. I did just see the tail of little Evelyn going up the tree. It doesn't look like the Vervet monkey wants to play. There you go, she's going to climb onto the main part of the trunk now. There you go. You can see her right at the base there. So maybe it was Huey that went into the tree first. Yeah, there's Huey. But, quick one from Zach. How heavy does a leopard weigh and how long are they? Leopards, average male, you're looking around 60 to 80 kilos. Females around 40-50 kilos. Length, I'd say probably about a meter and a half, something like that, without the tail, just the body length. Well, we started the show today with baboons, and it's wonderful to actually close it with them actually out and about foraging and maybe trying to interact with the Vervet monkey. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. Thank you for all your questions. It's great to hear from you. Oh, excuse me. Just eaten a bug. Nice. I'm joining in with the foraging here. There we go. But thank you very much for joining us. My name is Tara. Herman's been on camera and Craig back in front of control. And the Gary gang also say goodbye. Join us again on Wild Earth for our next live safari at 3:30 Central Africa time this afternoon.